They called her Unit 7, not a name, not a person, just a number burned into a metal band around her wrist, a band thicker than a man's torso. She stood in chains in the center of the testing chamber, her head nearly brushing the ceiling 300 feet above. White lights flooded her gray skin. Her long silver hair hung loose and tangled. Her golden eyes did not look angry. They looked tired below. The scientists watched from behind reinforced glass. Reproduction test failed. One of them said. His voice echoed through speakers. Unit 7 lowered her head. She already knew. They had tested her for months. Measured her bones, her blood, her organs, her ability to carry life, her ability to create more like her, more giants, more weapons, more tools. She had failed. She was defective. The lead director pressed a button. Prepare Unit 7 for final slaughter. The words were CALM, casual, like ordering a machine to be. Scrapped. Heavy locks around her ankles clicked open, only to be replaced by thicker transport restraints. Unit 7 closed her eyes. She did not beg. She did not scream. She had seen the others taken. None returned. She knew what waited. Death and silence. Except this time, something different happened. A voice spoke over the chamber speakers. Wait. It was not one of the directors. It was a human voice, young, nervous. The room stirred. Who authorized that interruption? The director snapped. A man stepped forward into view below. He wore a simple technician uniform. No rank markings. No authority. Just a human. My name is Daniel Reyes, he said. Biological Maintenance Division. The director frowned. You have no authority here. Daniel swallowed. I know. But I have a proposal. The director laughed. A proposal? About defective livestock. Daniel looked up at Unit 7. She looked down at him. For a moment, neither moved. He had never stood this close to her before. She was not a monster. She was a person. He could see it in her eyes. I believe Unit 7 is not a failure. Daniel said. Silence. The director's voice turned cold. She cannot reproduce. That was her only purpose. Daniel shook his head. That was the purpose you gave her. Not the only one she can have. Murmurs spread through the observation room. The director leaned forward. Have 30 seconds before I have you removed. Daniel's heart pounded. He had not planned this part, only the truth. She is intelligent, he said. She learns. She understands language, emotion, choice. He pointed upward. She is not livestock. She is a person. Unit 7's fingers twitched. Slightly, the director's face hardened. Personhood requires function. Daniel took a breath. Then, give her a new function. The director laughed again. And what function would justify the resources wasted on her existence? Daniel hesitated. This was the moment. Everything depended on this. He spoke. She can help us. Communicate. Silence fell. The director narrowed his eyes. Explain. Daniel gestured toward Unit 7. She responds to human interaction. She trusts humans more than her own handlers. If there are others like her out there, she could help us reach them peacefully. The room buzzed with interest. Peace, not control, not slaughter. The director looked up at Unit 7. then back at Daniel. And if you are wrong? Daniel met his gaze. Then I accept full responsibility. The director smiled. A cruel smile. You would trade your life for defective property. Daniel did not hesitate. Yes. Unit 7's eyes widened. She did not understand every word, but she understood enough. He was protecting her. Why? She was nothing, a failure. The director leaned back. He was silent for a long time. Then he spoke. Very well. Daniel's breath caught. The director continued, you have 1 year. He raised a finger. If she proves useful, she lives. Another finger, if she does not. Both of you die. Daniel nodded. I accept. The director pressed a button. The transport restraints unlocked. Unit 7 froze. She did not move. She did not believe it. Unit 7. Daniel said softly into the microphone. Her eyes shifted to him. You are under my supervision. Now. His voice trembled slightly. But I need you too. Come with me. She stared at him. A tiny human, fragile, weak, kind, slowly. She lowered herself to her knees. The entire facility trembled. She extended her hand, not to grab, but to offer. Daniel hesitated. Then he stepped forward. He placed his hand against her fingertip. Her skin was warm, alive, not a machine, not a weapon. Alive, for the first time since her creation. Unit 7 was not alone. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Daniel taught her words, names, ideas. She learned quickly, faster than anyone expected. She chose a name for herself, Luma. It meant light, because Daniel had told her she deserved one. She laughed for the first time on day 43. A sound like distant thunder, beautiful. She cried for the first time on day 61, when she learned what happened to the others. Daniel stayed with her. Always, not as her owner, as her friend. 1 year passed. The director returned. He stood in the chamber again. Luma stood before him, free of chains. Unit 7, he said. She did not respond. Daniel smiled slightly. She prefers Luma. The director ignored him. What function have you demonstrated? Daniel looked up at her. She nodded, slowly. Carefully, she spoke. Her voice shook the air. I am not a function. Silence. The director stared. She continued. I am alive. The room held its breath. Daniel's hands trembled. The director's face showed nothing. Then he asked, why should you live? Luma looked down at Daniel, then back at the director. Because he showed me how. Silence. Stretched, long, heavy. Then the director turned. He walked away, without a word. Daniel's heart pounded. Had they failed? Had it all been for nothing? The director stopped at the door. He spoke without looking back. Project designation changed. He paused. No longer livestock. He left. The doors closed. Daniel exhaled. Luma looked down. What does it mean? Daniel smiled. It means you're free. She did not understand the word, but she understood his smile. She lifted him, gently held him close, not as property, not as a tool, as a friend. Humanity had created her to reproduce, to serve, to die. Instead, Humanity did something unexpected. One human made a deal, and in doing so, proved something greater than strength, greater than size, greater than purpose. Humanity's greatest power was not creation, it was compassion, and because of that, a giant lived. Not as Unit 7, but as Luma, and her story was only beginning. Asterisk.